We are live. Welcome to the RedBlue Podcast number 17. And today, for some reason, Cole is not there. However, we got a guest that came back. You can now present yourself.
It is I, chillmonger.
Thank you for being there. It's amazing having you again. Um, so today we have a lot of topic, as you know it. We will cover Black Adams, and then we will cover Werewolf by Night, and I really hope Cole will show up for the rest. Otherwise, I think that will be it for tonight. Maybe I will cover Stargirl. Now I know you haven't seen it, so maybe after Werewolf by Night, maybe I will be alone. We'll see. I hope not. But I mean, you're not really into Stargate, aren't you?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And usually we cover the episode and we have lots of spoiler. Anyway, so let's start off with Black Adam. And as usual, I like having my guests speak first because they are the most important here. So you can start off. I'm really curious to have your opinion on the movie overall. What did you think of it?
I was all good with the movie from beginning to the ending. The beginning was probably the roughest because of all the new characters like Adriana and Kareem. And I go, do I really need to be here for these characters? It was a little bit of a struggle to get through. Then since Black Adam came on, I'm like, woof, yeah. And I saw Black Adam. I didn't see The Rock.
That's very good. I also like the movie a lot. Now, you did speak about a lot of character. What did you think overall of the crowd? Do you think the movie had the right cast or there were too many characters?
Not too many characters, right? Um, d- hmm, let's think. No, perfect amount of characters. Just dedicate less time to the freaking dad in the car, not the, I think the uncle in the car. Take time from him. If you want to give it to Doctor Fate, that's fine. Maybe you want to give more to Black Adam, that works for me too. He had a little bit too much.
What was your favorite character?
Oh, Black Adam. Black Adam was my favorite. Hawkman comes second.
Oh, that's very interesting. You know why I say it's very interesting? We have very different opinion. I was really bothered by Altman for most of the movie because I was like, that guy, they portrayed him as being so stupid and just wanting to fight, and I was like, man, that get on my nerves so much because he doesn't feel like a good leader, and I feel like Dr. Fate should have been the one in charge, but that's just my opinion, and maybe I have a biased opinion because I did think Dr. Fate was the best part of the movie. But I must admit, Black Adam was also amazing. I think um, I was very entertained by pretty much everything. What did you think of the action overall?
Well, hold on a minute. Before the action, Hawkman had the texts that were ancient. He and Task Force X. And so he knew Black Adam was all about violence, knew his story, and that's why he had no like slack for Black Adam, and he just was straight up ready to fight. I can forgive him for that. Maybe you made it think he was angsty, but by the time they let us know who Black Adam was, he wasn't the actual hero. He was the one that the hero gave powers to. Then I could be like, okay, cool. Hawkman, you're not so bad for jumping right on Black Adam for not believing anything or not giving him the benefit of that doubt.
I think
The action was great.
what bothered
Action.
me the most is the entire GSC fought Black Adam and they all lost, and I think it's fine because Black Adam is a powerhouse in this movie, and it's his movie after all, so I think I'm fine with it. But then after they lost, Alkman still wants to fight Black Adam and he still thinks he can defeat him, but he is just not on the same level. If the entire GSA cannot beat him, at that point at least, uh, there's no way him alone can take him on. And even Dr. Fate was like, yeah, I will let you two have a fight and I will just sit there and drink my tea.
Dr. Fate knew what yeah, he saw the future. He goes, "Why try? I know how this ends. I'm good."
And I'm actually surprised Hawkman didn't die from from Black Adam, because I was like, Black Adam killed everyone, but not him. Not Hawkman, and Hawkman is the most annoying one.
Mm.
What did you
When
think of the
he
kids?
got those wings though, when those wings started flapping, ooh, Hawkman looked nice. He looked like he flies with wings. Remember Namor in the trailer and how different it looked like his flying was? No, Hawkman, he flew.
Yeah, I actually agree. I liked all the scenes where he was in the sky. But what did you think of Cyclone and Atom Smasher?
They had a necessary small role. They wanted to fill out a team. They found two actors to do it, and they didn't dominate, so whatever.
Oh, that's very interesting. Here again, I thought I didn't care enough for them, and I feel like they were not necessary. Like, they were just there because cameos. And I'm like, if they get a solo movie based on that movie, I will not be interested. I will be like, yeah, I'd pick like another Black Adam over them, or Doctor Fate movie over them, because they didn't sold me well, these two characters. Um, yeah, like for me at least, the movie was too crowded. Now, I know you said you like having a big cast of character, and I think in some cases it's really good, but in my opinion, that wasn't the best thing about this movie. Um, so, um, what else?
I
What
don't think
was
their role was to be the best thing in the movie. They were just there to fill out a team. If they do a JSA movie, I'll expect for them to show out. It's possible for a little guest appearance to steal the show. Spider-Man in Civil War or Black Panther in Civil War. They both got movies on their own. If DC won't give freaking Cyclone a movie of her own, but they will probably do Justice Society.
so? What did you think of the third act?
The third act was, where was Black Adam? He was absent, you know. Sabak and his whole villain origin, nah, whatever, bro. You're just here to serve as a threat that the Black Adam can rip apart, turn your body into magma. Like the final kill, pretty. It was a decent final kill, wasn't it? And I've seen better, but it was a decent conclusion as far as like final act. It's much better than Remember Doctor Strange where America Chavez speaks to Wanda, and that was a lame like, oh look, they just talked to each other. This had a little bit of action, so I'm just saying it's a passable grade, okay?
So I will be honest with you, I have not seen Multiverse of Wanda because I've seen a lot of videos about it, and I was like, yeah, what did they do to my boy Doctor Strange? I wasn't interested at all, and I will watch it in the future for sure, because I plan on covering each single phase on this channel here. So phase 4 for sure will be covered, and when I will be there, I will actually watch what I haven't watched, because there's a lot of things I haven't watched in phase 4 because they were just not appealing for me. And if I wasn't a YouTuber, I would never watch these things, I think. But hey, that's just me. We go a bit too far here. Let's go back to that final act. I have mixed feeling with that third act, because I feel like the movie could have ended with Black Adam in jail, and it would have made sense, and I would have liked it this way, because him accepting to be like sent in jail was interesting, because it showed some kind of character growth in some ways, because he realized the danger it can become, and how nobody can really stop him right now. And him just turning himself in at the end was like really good. But then that third act just undermines that. And I'm like, really? We have a bad CGI villain to close this off? It's
Typical.
it was the worst part of the movie for me. But I said I have mixed feeling because the fight between Doctor Fate and CG villain was actually amazing. I liked it a lot. What did you think of that fight?
Dr. Fate? He
Doctor
was
Fate
alright.
fought the guy before Black Adam came in.
Yeah, he did decent, but the crystal and stuff, that's something I remember from Doctor Strange. The way he kind of mirror dimensioned everything. That's something I associated with the wrong doctor.
Yeah, but I can understand where you are coming from. Um, that was very, very inspired by Infinity War for sure. But I will say this: I like this one more because I had emotion because I was like, Doctor Fate will die for his friend. Even if I didn't really care for Altman, because as I said, I didn't like Altman until the third act. The third act actually saved Altman for me. But before the third act, man, that character was not a character I liked. But regardless, the whole point of Doctor Fate was his sacrifice, and it was just very interesting. I think I liked it a lot because it was just alone against that monster, knowing he would lose, but he would lose to save his friend. That's what I liked the most. And then we have like Altman outside smashing the shield because he's like, I don't want to let him die. So that's why I think this redeemed a little bit Altman, but then Altman picking the helmet when Doctor Fate died also redeemed Doctor Fate, not Doctor Fate, Altman, and the fact that Doctor Fate also like helped out Black Adam to escape his cell was great. I think uh, that was a good fight. That fight,
Yeah.
I liked that fight much more than the one between Black Adam and Bad CG Villain. Um, I liked it much more. I will say this because Bad CG Villain didn't add much weight. I'm like, it's just the final boss of a video game, and Black Adam will just go there and beat that boss down. I actually like much more the fight between the GSA and Black Adam. What did you think of that fight?
That was a cool start. Of course, they rushed it, and at the time, I go, they really don't need to be fighting. And it was just before Hawkman explained where he got the ancient readings of what this guy's all about. So I didn't enjoy the most out of it. The second time around, I'll go and I'll check it out. And I'll like embrace it. The joking and humor. You remember when Atom Smasher was giant, put his hand up and he'd slaps Hawkman?
Yeah,
Was that the first fight? I don't remember, but it was very good
yeah,
joking the whole way through. Like the comedy in this movie is marvelous. Oh man, is it my favorite DC comedy? No, no, no. Suicide Squad had better comedy.
yeah. Um, I like that fight a lot. That fight was great. And what did you think of the backstory of Black Adam being, in fact, the father of the true chosen one?
Yeah, it was a big surprise as a guy who doesn't know the actual story of Black Adam. It's cool. His little body though, it was so weird.
I also like that a lot because you're like, he will be the kid, he will be the kid the entire movie because this is the way they want you to think. But they flip it on your head and say, no, he wasn't the kid, he was the father.
Mm.
And I like that a lot. I think that was well done.
Yeah.
What did you think of the solo fight between Hawkman and Black Adam in the Owls?
I was still learning Hawkman, so he's a Themyscirian, and that or Thanagarian, something Aryan, and I was just like, okay, cool. He's pretty durable. Punches and everything is he's just as much as Black Adam is as far as defense. He's got a weapon also, so cool. I mean, they put a lot of respect on Hawkman. The amount of beating he can take and give also. I go, ooh, I didn't know Hawkman was this badass. Like he's basically Superman level, right?
Yeah, I think he is a bit less because Superman can actually solo Black Adam, and at the end, Black Adam just steamrolled Hawkman. Even if Hawkman pull up a good fight at start, I think when Black Adam really got angry, he just stomped Hawkman at some point. Because if it was really Superman level with Doctor Fate on his side, they would have won the first encounter. Uh, I do think Hawkman was really strong, but as I said, like in the first half of the movie, I was really annoyed and pissed at Hawkman. I was like, that guy knows he's weak here, but he still wants to throw punch, thinking it will change the thing, but it will not. So I was like, oh man, why? And then they find the crown in the wall, and I'm like, that's pure plot convenience, poor script writing, story writing. It's like, what if they never fought? They would never have found that crown, and the villain would never have found the crown as well. It's like, because Hawkman was dumb, he created the villain.
Damn.
That's basically what happened for me.
You're turning on your brain when you watch these things. You're not supposed to do that.
I turn on my brain because I like to be as critical as I can with stuff I watch. Whether it's
You're
DC
supposed
or...
to look at the pretty colors and oh, they're flying. Awesome.
Yeah, I also point that out. I like the action. The movie was very entertaining. It's not because I critique something I think is stupid that I didn't like the product. I do think it was a good product, but man, some of the storytelling wasn't great. Like, take out Cyclone and Atom Smasher, you still get the same movie. Let's be honest, you still have the same movie. What did they really brought to the story?
Uh,
Nothing. The family, the kid with the skateboard was more important than Atom Smasher, and he has no power.
why is that why is that worth criticizing or why is that even worth mentioning? They are the seventh most important character.
Well, that's the thing. Like, take out the kid, and a lot of things in the movie fall apart, and the movie doesn't work anymore. But if you take out Atom Smasher and Cyclone, the movie still works well. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
they could be done without. So you think that if a character isn't essential, they're like not even that needed? I think the good
yeah,
thing about Cyclone and Atom Smasher, I forgot their names for a second. The good thing about them is that when Amanda Waller sent a team, she had four people. So they served their purpose in the very beginning, and then boom, easy as that. And he made me laugh when he slapped Hawkman, and Hawkman said, "Me and you, me and you." That
yeah.
he did his job.
I did
And she
admit,
had a little moment where she was like, "You gotta turn it upside down," and she had a little science on on the lab in the ship.
yeah.
And so Cyclone contributed in that way later on.
Actually, I will give it a pass because you found a good thing about Cyclone. So, I think Atom Smasher was just for comic relief, and that's fine. I mean, I will admit, his scenes with Hawkman were funny. So, even if I didn't really enjoy that much these two characters, you actually gave more value to Cyclone, and I fully agree with you. So, I would say...
Let me take away something from Cyclone now. They recasted or they race swap casted Cyclone. I was interested in this character. I put that word Cyclone DC Comics in my Google, and unfortunately, the character does not look like the actual one that we got in the movie. She's a white character, and as I probably said to you before, if I haven't, I'll say it again. They don't move anything forward racially by having black actors play white characters. The status quo is retained. Just as many white characters are as popular if you do race swap casting. What you want is progression and is to actually introduce the masses to characters with dark skin, like like Black Adam.
Yeah.
And then you know that it's not just a little temporary representation. So Carter, what's Hawkman's real name?
Carter
Hawkman?
Hall.
He is a white man, and casting Aldous Hodge. What's his name?
I don't know the names of the actor. The only actor I know in the movie is Pierce Brosnan and obviously
Got
The
it.
Rock.
I was right. Aldous Hodge is his name. So casting this guy as your Hawkman, whoop-de-doo, you've accomplished your quota of racial diversity at the studio. But what you didn't do is introduce the masses to a black superhero. You just had a black actor do all this labor making popular a franchise known as Hawkman, rather than him putting the performance he put in to make Static or Icon, Mr. Terrific. I don't know much DC heroes, but
Black
there's three.
Lightning. Black
You
Lightning.
know?
He had his own
Easy as
show,
that.
and his show was good. Even if a lot of people were complaining about it, I did think Black Lightning did well.
Look,
Like
instead of getting Black Lightning, you got Black White Hawkman.
I actually agree. Yeah. Now, I was about to say something, but there's actually a blank.
Was it
um,
about Cyclone herself?
yeah, Cyclone Man. Being race swap, I don't really care about that, but coming from your point of view, I fully understand you, and I'm on board with what you're saying. And yeah, they should add more character that were made black, and if they don't know any, make your own, you know. And it's not that hard to craft a good character. You just need to think about flaws within the character and strength within the character, so people can just relate to them, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just character writing 101. It's not complicated. It's not really hard. Um, Now let's speak about uh, one of the things I didn't like. I don't know if you liked it, but I found that very cheesy when the kid was going in the street and screaming at people, "Let's fight these skeleton, these monsters." I was like, this is really bad. This feels like one of the worst thing they can do in superhero movie. It's like a bad trope. What did you think of that? The speech that empowered the people.
Yeah, it was pretty lame, but and it was something we've seen before. I would give it a trope status, sure.
That well, yeah. So I will also say this to keep um going with Doctor Fate. Uh, how did you feel when he died?
Sad. You know, old guy, he put in a lot of work seemingly, and he was friends with Hawkman. I felt sad he died.
Yeah, I had tears in my eyes, man. This is what happens when a well written character dies off, and I'm like, man, that guy had a good run. It was emotional. I think that scene alone redeemed a lot. Um, the third act I didn't really like, and then we get Augment entering the battlefield and taking up the helmet, and then you think Augment dies as well, but then it's a fake Augment, and I was like, okay, so Doctor Fate did show some tricks to Augment, and I like that a lot. And my favorite Augment scene, where I really feel like they redeemed the character, is when Augment actually acknowledged that Black Adam was a good thing and Doctor Fate didn't sacrifice himself in vain, you know? And I like that scene a lot. And that scene alone where Augment is like, yeah, let's make some peace now. We are done doing fights to honor my friend's memory. I was like, I'm on board now with you, Augment. I did hate him for most of the movie until that point. What did you think of that scene?
Bro, that was the highlight, or maybe one of the highlights of the movie outside of the action.
Yeah. And also the opening scene, I like it a lot. The opening action sequence where Black Adam just murdered people. You see like body part flying everywhere, and these little people being scared. What? How did you feel in that moment?
Body parts. You know what though? Before I watched this movie, I was watching Perp Minded, and Perp says, there's over 100 deaths in this movie. Can't believe it's not rated R. And so I was really just counting bodies die and die and going, oh, he's right. There was 100 deaths.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed the movie despite a few issues I had here and there. What would be the grade you would give to Black Adam?
8 out of 10, which is A minus in Canada, right?
Yeah, I give the same grade. 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
Man, we fully
Ooh.
agree on that grade. And I'm actually surprised because I was like, he liked it more than me, so maybe it will be more of a 9, but it's very interesting. We both have an 8.
You know, it could be at a 9 if the beginning hit harder for me. As far as the action goes, the action was perfect. The action was satisfactory. What's between satisfactory and perfect? There's a word for that, and that's what it was.
I think what really messed up my feeling about the movie is the fact that I thought there were too many character and I just found Hawkman annoying for most of the movie. They redeemed him a lot in the third act, and when I think back about that movie, I'm like, that third act did hurt the movie a lot, but it also gave me like some of my favorite scene in the movie, like Doctor Fate versus uh, CG villain, and then Black Adam making peace with the other one with Hawkman. So yeah, I think it was a very entertaining movie, and I think in the future I see myself rewatching it, and it's a good thing for a movie when there's that rewatch value, you know?
I really hope this movie makes all the money it deserves to make. I remember Top Gun Maverick. That movie did crazy. Like after the first weekend, it was just winning and winning, and it's possible for movies to do that. That was just a reminder earlier this year. So Black Adam, if enough people chat about it, it still has 2 more weekends that won't be interrupted by anything major, and then Wakanda Forever comes.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else to add about Black Adam?
I'd recommend watching it. Henry Cavill towards the ending in the post-credit scene, even though we all knew it was coming. Man, it was nice to hear the music, and you're like, "Oh, this is great." And then Henry Cavill today, everyone, he went on his Instagram and he said, "Guys, now that it's been a weekend, everyone got to see the movie. Listen, I'm back, baby. Like this is for the long haul." So that's good, reassuring to hear.
Yeah, I'm very glad. I'm happy they keep him around, and I just want them to come up with great stuff. So he's happy to stay around for another 10 years if he's able to stay in shape, you know? 10 years that gives us like a trilogy with him, and maybe one or two movies where it will be like assembled cast, you know? That could be great. That's like the dream scenario, you know?
It is the dream scenario, and I cannot believe there are people who get paid millions of dollars to work at that studio who, for the past 5 years, were just passing on him. I'm very glad David Zaslav is here to fix things.
Yeah, I think um, management was one thing. I think uh, the previous guy in charge, that Almada, I forgot his full name, but
Walter Hamada.
yeah, Walter Almada. I was saying David Almada, but that's Walter. Yeah, I think he was part responsible of that because I think he wanted to have more diversity in the forefront, and I'm actually fine with it as long as you don't like put in a corner what you already have that should work, you know. And Wonder Woman, the first one I liked it so much. The second one was so bad, and I was like, we got the second Wonder Woman, but no Man of Steel 2? Are you kidding me? I mean, they they traded that. Like, I mean, Wonder Woman was better than Man of Steel for sure, but the second Wonder Woman wasn't worth it, and we got that instead of a second Man of Steel. And I think this all goes back to Almada, um, and Almada is probably one of the reasons why some people were speaking about killing Superman as a baby in the Flash movie. So we have like diverse Supergirl as the new icon to replace Superman. And to be honest, I don't really care about casting, but you have Henry Cavill there, and he is willing to play the role. And even if the movies he was in were not masterpiece level, he was doing great job with the material he was given. So it's really sad to have him being just wasted because they want other character to be showcased, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you should never have to cost yourself Superman, make other characters.
Yeah, but I will say this: I'm parts of me is actually glad he didn't got so much movies. Even if I'm sad, I'm also glad because we got the Superman and Lois TV show, and I like that TV show a lot. And I feel like if we had movies with Superman, I don't see that show ever happening. So the trade was still somewhat decent, but it's a bit sad because people like you like connectivity, and Superman and Lois is not directly connected to the DCU yet. But I do think in the future they will, because the movie will adapt Crisis for sure. And if they do adapt Crisis, they will make like everything DC canon, like what the Arrowverse did.
Good.
So it's just a matter of time when everything becomes canon.
I'm
Um,
waiting.
what?
I'm waiting.
Yeah. Um, anything else to add on this first DC topic?
That's it.
So, man, I think something happened to Cole. I don't know what, but now it's obvious. That usually is always on time. Oh, wait. Did he send me a message? Did he? No. Maybe he's passed out. I don't know.
Let's do Werewolf by Night then.
Yeah. And I think I will end the stream once we are done with Werewolf by Night, because I don't see myself covering Stargirl alone, because I still liked it a lot, Stargirl, but it feels sad that there's no Cole. Anyway, thank you for coming, man. For real, that's very appreciated. I just wish I had more Marvel stuff and more DC stuff you're also into, so you could come like more often if you can. Uh, yeah. Anyway, Werewolf by Night. Um, I will let you start.
It was pretty average. I think black and white is a time is a marking of an older time, and that older time was low quality. If you do the whole thing black and white, I mean, there was a time they added color towards the ending, but if you do the whole thing, most of it in black and white, and you're expecting me to be like, oh, this is fascinating, it brings me back. No, wrong. I like quality, and you literally decreased the quality during this whole production. That is not a win for me. That's a loss for me. Hard to get into things, especially in the dark, when it's all black and white. The character who was the main was Elsa Bloodstone. Whatever. There was a time where somebody smashed her head into the concrete, and I go, oh, she must have like some sort of skill or some sort of. Remember how Hawkman had endurance, like I was just mentioning?
Yeah.
Fine. Elsa must have endurance too. No, it was just bad writing, bro. You can just slam her 3 times, and her head is gonna be okay.
Now, I will say this to defend the black and white. I do think why they do this is to give a different feel to the movie, so it doesn't feel like another Marvel. And I will also go further with this. I do think they use the black and white aspect of it to make it more gore and like with blood and stuff when the guys turn into werewolf. Because if there's no color, they can basically do like rated R stuff, but PG-13. I don't know what was the rating of the movie, but I do think it was PG-13. Am I right on that?
Of which movie?
Werewolf by Night.
That's not a movie. But whatever the rating was, who cares? It's on Disney. Like, you stream it. Ratings make sense for movie theaters because a certain amount of people are allowed in. Once we get to like the streaming era, who cares what it's for? You pay a little, $9.99. Your credit card pays for it. If your kids watch it, your kids watch it. Too bad.
Yeah, you say
So
that, but
I don't know the
Disney
answer to your
actually
question.
care about that.
and they care about it, but then like they just care about passing, you know? If they cared, they wouldn't put middle fingers in their Disney movies
Yeah,
where
they.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I think they care about the amount of violence because I will say this like the original Netflix Daredevil was very violent and bloody, and I've heard I don't have Disney Plus because I disagree with a lot of stuff Disney does. But anyway, I won't get too political there. Uh,
Oh, it's
I've
political. Okay.
I've heard like they did a second version of the Netflix Daredevil because that second version has less blood. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it's true, that goes back to what I'm saying that they want to like nerf the violence because they don't want to show to show too much violence, you know. And at some extent, I can understand, but then they do other weird stuff. I won't speak too much about it, but yeah, I think Disney do care about the amount of violence they show, and I can tell like Born Again, the Daredevil Born Again won't be as dark as the one we had with Netflix. Like if they are as dark, I will be shocked. I will be shocked if they are as dark, and I will actually praise them if they have the balls to go as dark as the Netflix Daredevil. But I will see what the future has to tell with Daredevil. And I've seen a video where they basically said um, the Daredevil show is now canon because of the music they played in She-Hulk. And that's right, because that's the theme from the Daredevil TV show. So I think this is interesting to think about. And because of right reason, like copyright and stuff, they cannot do the same kind of story anyway. So if
Uh,
they make it canon, they will just move after that point. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, without too much spoiler, like, in season 2, there's Punisher in it. There's no way the Disney uh, reboot, if we call it that way, or sequel, I don't know what it is right now. There's no way they will use the same kind of storyline with Punisher because they already did it on Netflix, and it's a copyright issue, you know. And I think because of that, they will make it canon, or they already did by using the same kind of theme, the music that was playing in the hallway fight scene Matt had, and they also used some joke from the Daredevil TV show, like the parking one. I think they took it from Daredevil, if I
Uh,
remember correctly. Um,
okay. Okay.
anyway, I think they made it canon. So, uh, about Werewolf by Night. Let's go back to like the topic. Um, what was your favorite scene?
Man Thing. When he popped out, that was my favorite. You know, actually, towards the ending, when Man Thing, I think, stepped over one of the guys, that was a good comedy. Man Thing was he was the victory out of this whole entire thing. Thing, lol. But like, he was the guy.
Yeah, I liked the lore and the exposition they were doing, and for a short movie, because it's not a TV show, except if they did other episodes I don't know about. It's a short movie, and I do think in 50 minutes they did a lot more than a lot of other shows. She-Hulk! Um, yeah,
Sh- She-Hulk had way too much time, and also short episodes. There was nothingness. There was literal filler. You know.
they did nothing with all the time they got, and it's sad.
Mm.
I do think uh, Werewolf by Night was funny. There's a lot of funny stuff in it. I also like the fight choreography a lot, and the action, but the issue I had, like the main villain, the biggest villain, the one that wants to, the lady that wanted to turn the guy into the werewolf, she was a bad villain. I'm like, what's that joke? What did you think of that villain?
What was the point of the villain? What's the backstory? What's the history? What's the like? Tell me, where were you and your people this entire time when Wong and Doctor Strange needed help opening portals? You were nowhere to be found during Endgame. What is your exact history? Don't forget, this is a world, and I'm not gonna just accept the same way Justice Society just popped up, right? I won't accept that in Avengers, in Marvel's franchise, because of what we have had, because we've had people uniting. Now, it's not acceptable in Avengers, in Marvel.
Yeah. Um, what did you think of the quest to undown Ted and to kill Ted, the monster with the stone? What did you think of that kind of plot that lasted for like half of the movie?
That, nothing. I didn't care for the stone. It was red, though. At least that was a color on screen.
That's funny because I will actually say the same. I didn't care for that quest, and there was too many character for 50 minutes, and I didn't care who get the stone. And I will admit, the main character, the guy that turns into a werewolf, he was very likable, and I liked him a lot. And his deal he did with the girl, I also liked that a lot. The girl was also likable, but here's the thing: they have so many opponents we don't really know, like obstacle people that want the stone for themselves, and there's no backstory for the others. So you're like, am I supposed to root for them? Like, it feels empty. Um, Now I got another more minor complaint, but maybe it's not. It's just me that didn't understood the movie right. But let's speak out about the girl. Does she have super strength?
You know what I think. I just went to the database of Marvel.com and it said no, she just has a regular human strength.
So, she is a woman. Now, she fight a man with a sword. They both have a sword. She overpower him. I was like, okay, if she has super strength, I will give that a pass. If she doesn't, that guy is bigger than her. There's no way
Yeah,
she
she can
would do that.
outwit him. She's skilled. If you have the abilities and the knowledge of how to fight, then you're good.
But you still need the strength to force someone else with
You
his
gotta
own
use his
strength.
strength. His strength can be used against him, and then all of a sudden you take his momentum, and now you got him down.
Uh, I see where you're coming from, and it's really hard to argue with this because you're making a good point there. But for me, it still breaks the immersion in the universe. I'm like, it makes no sense. She cannot overpower the other one. If even if she has the technique, she doesn't have his strength. And that's why I was asking, does she have super strength? If she has super
Let me
strength,
open Elsa Bloodstone, marvel.fandom.com. When I scroll down to the power grid, her intelligence is a 4. I think 7 is the highest. Her strength is a 4. Her speed is just 2. Durability is 4. Oh, her durability is 4? Whichever one I read was wrong. And her fighting skills are 4.
okay, so 4, I guess it's pretty high.
4 is pretty high. I'm going to go to Captain America on this exact same website so that we could have a good comparison to know.
I like that.
Gonna take me some time, so just talk.
That's fine. That scene really bothered me so much because I'm really into fight choreography stuff, and I like to praise when praise is needed. And I will mention something like in Jessica Jones. Without any spoiler, there's one female character There's the background where that female character has been training, she knows how to fight, she has a technique, and she fight a bigger guy. And guess what? Even if she has the technique, she cannot beat him. Like, she pull off a good fight considering she's smaller and weaker, but she lose at the end. And that was realistic. That was grounded. So when I see a sword fight with a girl that is not supposed to have super strength, it breaks the immersion for me. I'm like,
Well,
man.
what do you think would happen if Captain America fought Elsa? Because the fighting skills of Cap is at 6. However, intelligence, strength, and durability are all 3.
Yeah. So that's the name of the girl, Elsa.
Elsa Bloodstone.
Okay. Maybe in a fight, like, he will last longer because of the serum, but he will overpower her for sure. Even if he has less of everything else. When you're in a fight, your endurance, your strength, your sheer strength will be the reason why you usually win. Except if, like, the other one has a technique to one-shot you and KO you like that. But yeah, I don't think she has that kind of stuff. I mean, she's not One Punch Man. Or One Punch Woman in that case.
That was so lame.
I mean, like, as I said, if she had super strength, I would be fine with it, but apparently she doesn't. So, I still like the action. Even if I complain about it, I still liked it a lot. And him turning into a werewolf and them telling why he doesn't attack her because of her scent and her smell, because you remember, that was kind of clever considering it's Disney. I was like, oh, these writers should have gotten the shield case. Finding actual reason for things to happen, you know?
No, who'd have thunk it?
Storytelling 101.
Storytelling? No, we just find the crown wherever it is.
So, yeah, if you would give a grade out of 10 for Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, that was pretty low. Wasn't trash, nothing offensive. You know what was offensive actually? When they were trapped in that crypt. When one of the. So the first one who went inside was Elsa, wasn't it? Elsa was the first one in.
Yeah.
Second guy who made it in, the door was locked and he was coming in. And like while the door was open, you couldn't say, no, wait, stop, hold on, wait. Like you couldn't say anything to stop him from closing the door behind him. That was a weak moment of the show. I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
For the entire short movie. That's very interesting. So here I'm always honest, and that was hard for me to find issues, and I liked it much more than you, to be honest. I gave it an actual 8. Like, at first I was
Damn.
giving it a 9, but that whole girl thing really bothered me so much because it doesn't make any sense. Like, she overpowered the guy with the sword only for her to survive. That bothers me. When like, yeah, that's like the biggest issue I had, and that took out an entire point. So I think 8 out of 10 is justified in my case. I liked it much more than you apparently, and that's interesting. That's the point of having these discussions. I wish Cole Turner was around to have his perspective, to know exactly, like, am I crazy with my 8?
He liked it. I saw him tweet that he liked it.
Oh, that's good. So this means maybe he will be in between with the 6.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be 6.
So, now, I guess we will move on to Marvel in general. Are you really looking forward for what kind of... I've seen your channel, but for any people watching right now, like, would you recommend people to watch Wakanda
No,
Forever?
I recommend people to watch Black Adam and then walk to the theater that is showing Black Panther. But just don't give your money to that Black Panther because the more money you give it, the more reason they have to not recast. But if the box office return for Wakanda Forever is only like half of the first movie, they're gonna say, "Oh, we need to recast T'Challa."
You see, because of most of your videos, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, before I was divided, I was like, I'm not really interested because I've seen the trailer, and the trailer did good job because it told the story they wanted to tell with the movie, and it sold you that kind of story. And I was like, the trailer, the movie doesn't look interesting for me, but I can understand the appeal, and I can understand people like wanting to see that. And I'm like, it's too cultural for me, and Black Panther first movie had a lot of cultural aspect, but there was other stuff to it I could latch on and find interesting. Like I like the fight, I like the action, I liked the story. I really like the first Black Panther. So there's a lot of things I could latch on. I haven't seen it in many years, so I cannot really develop further. But I remember enjoying the movie. So I was like, this one doesn't look like a sequel for the first one. Am I crazy to think that? It doesn't
No,
look
you're
like a
not
sequel.
crazy because the main character is missing.
But even there, even if the main character is missing, do you feel like they will follow up some kind of story with Wakanda, or like can can someone, for example, start watching Marvel stuff? He never has seen Black Panther one. Do you think you will understand Wakanda Forever?
I do. Oh, nah,
They
man.
won't
You
really
probably
know.
need to watch the first one because Wakanda has opened their borders and Riri is an American and she's involved in this movie. So they'd probably explain that part.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, but I still feel like it's not really a sequel because, like what you said, the main character is not around. They didn't bother recasting, and it feels very different. And he was killed in the first one, if I remember correctly, and then he was brought back to life. So now, what's the reason for them to not bring him back to life? What's the reason? I want to know the reason.
Yeah, they ran out of kimoyo beads and heart-shaped herbs.
Yeah, sure, but convenience. All
Mm,
convenient. You cannot bring back your character because you don't have the tool for it. Yeah, all
too bad.
convenient. But yeah, like, the trailer didn't sold me the movie, and I was like, maybe I will give it a shot because it clearly looks better than most of Phase 4, I will be honest. Like, even if it doesn't pique my interest, I do think the writing of this movie will be better than most other movies or even TV shows, because I will be honest, TV shows, man, the big disappointment for me was Miss Marvel and Moon Knight. I feel like they were both wasted. I did like Miss Marvel a lot as a character, but the show surrounding her was not really good. It was better.
Super weak show, and I've told you that before. Moon Knight's big sin was the final fight.
Yeah,
Turned, yeah, they just had it off screen.
for me it was Lila, but yeah, like, I really didn't like Layla. I think she brought back the show a lot, and the lack of Moon Knight and Moon Knight. So I think Phase 4 had a lot of really sad case. And Wakanda Forever, like, if it wasn't for the recast, if it wasn't for the trailer, I would be like, maybe I will give it a shot. Um, yeah, it's kind of sad. For about Ant-Man, I've seen your reaction video. Are you excited about Ant-Man?
Yeah, I'm excited for Ant-Man. It's a slower pace and a different, slower, darker, I should say, not slow, pace than the first Ant-Man and second Ant-Man, which was light. This is just like, bro, we are in the quantum realm for the entirety of this movie, and it's not gonna be, we gotta do this or else people on the world Earth will die. Like this is the quantum realm. Who cares what happens here? But like the goal, the mission is to get back home. That is new. What other movie from Marvel has been trying to get back home? It wasn't Iron Man. It wasn't any of the Thors. He was never trying to get back home in all the Thor movies.
Yeah.
The plot of the movie in this is not a family member that you gotta fight. There's family in it, but it's none of that. It's just a different take, so it's cool.
Yeah, I will be honest here again. I'm actually interested now. Like before this trailer, I was like I don't give a crap because Phase 4 was a disappointment for me, a massive one. And I'm like, I don't really care. The next one I will watch will be the Marvels because of Miss Marvel. I don't care about Brie, Captain Boring, but yeah, I'm like the next one would be like Miss Marvel, the Marvels because of Miss Marvel, but then it would be Daredevil. But then I see that trailer and I'm like, they may try something that will interest me, and it looks like it will be funny like the usual Marvel movie or show, but it will not feel like a parody because I feel like this is what Love and Thunder was, based on the trailer at least. Everything for a joke, everything for a smile, everything to try to be funny, but it's not, based on what I've heard at least. Um,
Uh,
I don't know about your opinion about Thor 4. I actually forgot because I think we did speak about that in the
and
past,
I
but
was cool with it. I was the one guy in the world who was just like, oh, not nice. It was a Thor movie, and I just enjoyed the fighting in it. With the way that Gore could come out in and out of shadows, I didn't care much about the CGI head. None of that was really big of a deal to me.
yeah, and that's sad because in Phase 4, before I've seen trailers and because before I've heard stuff about Multiverse of Wanda, I was actually invested because Doctor Strange right now is my favorite character in the MCU, but I wasn't interested to see his character getting murdered. And this is basically what they did to him. Even Wong, man. Wong is another very sad case. And I feel like She-Hulk made it even worse. Poor Wong. Wong and She-Hulk.
Mm,
Um, so, yeah. Do you have a lot of expectation for Phase 5?
yes, I do.
So,
It's Ant-Man is a cool character to me. Phase 5 also has Avengers movies in it. I was into Falcon Winter Soldier, so whatever Falcon's movie accomplishes probably will be cool. So that right there, that's and the Fantastic Four are in Phase 5. Does Deadpool count as Phase 5?
oh, really? Deadpool. I thought it was like Phase 6, but do we have a release date for Deadpool?
They moved it back just when Blade got canceled. But hey, Spider-Man is going to be in Phase 5. It's just up to Sony to officially say the title, the date. But it will be a Phase 5 movie. And Spider-Man, I've liked all three of their movies, especially the most recent.
Wait, they canceled Blade?
Yeah, remember? Maybe you didn't remember. So Mahershala Ali
Yeah,
was
that's the
prepared to do
actor.
the filming. Yeah, the head actor. And then he didn't like the script according to a report, and they fired the director. And they're working on a new script. And the thing is, production was beginning, and filming. They should be filming right now in October, but they had to cancel it.
Is it pushed back or canceled? Canceled.
Is canceled the right word? It's postponed.
Okay.
But remember how War Machine got a Disney Plus series that they turned into a movie?
Yeah.
That's in my head, and this is my theory. They're like, oh, we gotta have a black movie. Okay, boom, let's just make War Machine a black movie as a replacement.
As a replacement. That's dirty. That's so
Welcome to
dirty because Blade
But that's
could
what it
be
looks like
great.
when you have a little diversity pie graph that you gotta satisfy. You gotta have enough of this and enough of that. That's what that looks like.
Yeah, it's sad because I will be honest. The old Blade movies, I see the appeal, and I've seen all of the three, and I'm like, they're not bad movies. They don't interest me that much. I wasn't the biggest fan, but I kind of enjoyed it. I found them entertaining, and I was like, what if there's a more modern take on Blade? That could be great. He is a great black character, and he is a vampire that basically kill other vampire, and I like the idea. It's like it's a creature that goes against its own nature, and I think that's the most interesting aspect of it. And
Uh,
getting it postponed like that, it's sad, but I hope it's not canceled, and I hope they will actually do something. But I I really hope like they will wait to have the good script, the good material, you know. So some parts of me, even if I'm disappointed to hear that it's been postponed or canceled or whatever the state of that project is, even if parts of me is sad about that, I'm like, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they will do better if they rewrite stuff, if they find new director, new writer, and new ideas, you know? But it's sad if they just give up on the idea and just do other stuff. That's what I'm worried about right now.
yeah.
Um, Phase 6. Are you excited about Phase 6?
Sorry, I don't know. Is that the X-Men phase? No, I'm not excited. Short answer is if I have to think about it, then no, I'm not.
Okay. Okay, so man, it's sad we didn't add Cole Turner tonight, but I think we did speak about everything we could without him. Thank you a lot for coming. What do you have going on your channel during the week?
Well, every Saturday, 33 burning MCU questions. And one other thing, I'm going to talk about Shuri as the Black Panther. It's going to be a Black Panther week because the review embargo is going to lift and all of those little plot leaks are going to be revealed about the movie. So we'll know. And I'm definitely reading those plot leaks. Or not, they're not leaks anymore, are they? They're actual truth, they're not leaks. But so
I
I'm going to listen to them, read them, discuss them.
I actually don't know the state of these leaks because I'm not really up to date with that kind of stuff. I listen to other people speaking about it and then I know it, but I'm not really searching after that kind of stuff because I don't do daily video anyway. Like, I stream a lot, but I don't do that kind of stuff. But yeah, 33 Burning Question, great podcast. I've seen it in playback because usually I sleep at that time. So
Uh-huh.
I've seen it in playback. That was a nice charity there. Have you thought about asking to your YouTube partner or whatever, or YouTube? Have you thought about asking for the thanks button on your video?
Like the super thanks thing? Yeah, I'll do that this week, or I'll do it. I'll do it soon. I can't tell you this week, but I'll do it soon.
That's good. Anyway, thank you very much for coming. You will come back in the future for sure if we find stuff. If you're interested to come back, uh, if guys and girls want to see Chillmonger, his channel is in the description below. And with that being said, just like, comment, and go take a look to Chillmonger. I wish you all a great day.